a dream.
On January 15th, 1929, an African-American boy was born to his mother and father. His name was Michael Luther King Jr. As a young boy, Michael grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a difficult time in the world. He always found it difficult to play with some of the other boys in town. Their parents never let poor Michael play with their kids. He didn't realize it at the time, but the color of his skin would be the cause of many injustices for the rest of his life. Michael's father took over his father's job as pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church. His family had always had an active role in the church since before Michael was born. At the age of 6, Michael and his family traveled to Europe. While visiting Germany, Michael and his father changed their names to Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King Jr. At the age of 15, Martin graduated from high school. Years later, after attending many colleges, Martin moved to Boston, where he graduated from Boston University. While living in Boston, he met and married Coretta Scott, and 2 sons and 2 daughters were born into the family. While having a happy life at home with his wife and kids, he still felt he had a calling larger than himself. Over the years, Martin was part of many peace protests. He preached for peace and for equal rights for not only African Americans, but for every person in the world. One of his most important moments was called the bus boycott. The bus boycotts began as a movement driven by the need for equal rights and desegregation of the public bus system. But as time went on, these boycotts became headline news. On these buses, people with white skin could sit in the front of the bus, but African Americans had to sit in the back or give up their seat to that of their white counterparts. Thanks to Martin and another now famous woman, Rosa Parks, the Supreme Court found the segregation to be unconstitutional. Martin became a world figure and was named Man of the Year by Time magazine. Martin made many speeches in his life, but his most memorable and historical one was held in Washington, D.C. Over 250,000 people flooded the Washington Monument to hear Martin's I Have a Dream speech.
So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring. When we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
From that moment on, even after his assassination, Martin Luther King Jr. cemented his name among many others as an American icon and revolutionary. Now the world, while not perfect, can see everyone for who they are and not for the color of their skin.
Come in here.
But why can't we come in?
What? I just want to read. You can't.
Stop. We couldn't drink at the same water fountains. We couldn't do anything together because of Jim Crow laws, a bunch of other silly things like that. And I think it's really weird because it has been so far from slavery. Like, slavery was 1700s, 1800s, but we were in the 60s. And so to me that is just a little silly or weird, but that's okay, because now we're 2014, we are being able to sit together, talk together, do different things together, and we're not separated.
This is Rosa Parks coming home from work in 1955. Rosa knew that it was the law that she would have to give up her seat to a white person, but she also knew that the law was unfair. And on this day, Rosa was asked to give up her seat, but she decided to stay seated for what was right. The policeman was called and Rosa was arrested and took to jail. On the same day, a bus boycott was formed, meaning that everyone should stop riding the bus until the law was changed. The boycott lasted more than a year. During that time, almost no African Americans rode a public bus in Montgomery, Alabama. On November 13, 1956, the United States Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public buses was against the law.
I would have to take longer than a minute to give my whole synopsis of my life, but I want to let you know that all of us should be free and equal and have equal opportunity. And that is what I'm trying to instill and encourage and inspire young people to reach their highest potential.
Rosa Parks was tired. She had worked hard all day. To ride home, she took a seat on the Cleveland Avenue bus in Montgomery, Alabama.
There was a time where blacks and whites couldn't read or write together.
But as you can see, time has changed.
Now, as you can see, we run together.
Yes, change has come.
Hey, may we read with you guys?
Yeah, maybe read.
No,
Why we can't read with y'all?
because it said so. Now go.
Wow, you're reading Westlandia? Can we join? Everybody's talking about that story.
I didn't know y'all could read.
Sure we can read. Come on, Paige, let them read.
Why?
Close.
Whatever.
We're having a good time.
Hey, guys, stop. There you go. You guys can
Martin Luther King had a dream that 4 of his black children will be able to play with 4 white children. And today his dream has come true.
Me and Jonathan, he's like my brother, my best buddy. We play together. He's like one brother I never had, a little brother who is smart. He corrects me when I'm wrong, and he awards me with my good behavior. And he always tells me, listen to Miss Bear, and that's what I do. He influences me to be good, so he like a brother I never had.
Sorry.